Hey everyone, today we're going to be listening to Porcelain by New York-based electronic artist Moby. In an interview, Moby stated that he was inspired to write this piece during a time when he fell madly in love with a woman, but due to certain circumstances, this relationship couldn't go anywhere and it was bound to end in pain and heartbreak. Throughout the piece, I'm going to take apart different aspects of the song which I feel best emulate this emotion that Moby is trying to show us. I'm also going to point out any samples that Moby uses as well as label any new layers he adds because this piece is full of audio layers. So without further ado, here is Porcelain by Moby. Now, I want to take a few seconds just to focus in on the cool strings we hear at the beginning of the track. You know, the... Moby actually sampled these from the soundtrack of the movie Exodus, made in the 1960s. It's about the struggles of the Jewish people after World War II. They're incredibly displaced, a lot of them don't have homes, and they end up settling in Israel after a lot of conflict and struggle. Pretty epic movie, pretty epic soundtrack. Now we're going to listen to an original soundbite of the original soundtrack. Listen closely and see if you can hear what Moby sampled. Now, I'm sure you all have an idea of where Moby got his sample from, that little string interlude that's in there. But something about it just doesn't sound right. Let's give it another listen. Now, I can kinda hear Moby's track in there, but not quite. Let's do something cool now. Let's see what happens when we reverse the sound clip. Yeah, there it is. Man, Moby truly is a mastermind when it comes to sampling. Alright, let's continue. Hey, me again. So we just heard a pretty sweet piano lick right there. I'm going to dive into it a little bit more in just a second. But first I'm going to play it just by itself in case you missed it so you can really hear what it sounds like. So that piano part right there, like the rest of the piece, is written in the Mixolydian mode. In popular music, we usually hear the Mixolydian mode used in really powerful songs that really take you on this emotional journey. I'll show you a few examples now. Wow, some great tunes. If you haven't heard them before, definitely give them a listen. You won't regret it. Now, I want to go back and talk about what I was saying earlier about how Moby was inspired to write this piece after he fell in love with a woman he knew he shouldn't be in love with. He just knew it wasn't going to end well for both of them. So here you have this man in this really weird state of emotion. On one hand, he's really feeling this sense of euphoria. He's really in love with this girl, he's really loving it. But on the other hand, there's this underlying tone of sorrow, of knowing it's going to end, of knowing it's going to be, heartbreaking. I think Moby does a great job at expressing this raw emotion by using the Mixolydian mode. You have these really bright, euphoric strings that just emulate love so much, but the real story is heard in the sorrowful, somber piano lick. It kind of just seems a little out of place, but it's there, and you have to recognize it. Let's listen to it some more, see what you think. So here Moby starts to sing. Some pretty sad lyrics, but I don't really care about what he's saying. I really want to focus in on that ghostly, almost celestial voice that's accompanying him as he sings. I'm going to play it again for you, and I really want you to hone in on that voice. Listen closely.
In my dreams I'm dying all the time. Then I wake, it's kaleidoscopic mind.
So here again, I really feel like we see Moby playing on these double emotions he's feeling during this time he spent with this girl. These happy emotions and these sad emotions. So Moby's voice in this verse, it's very kind of sad and depressed when he sings, "In my dreams I'm dying all the time." Kind of emotionless, not much going on there. But then you add this kind of celestial voice, this celestial being up top, and it creates that feeling of magic almost that you feel when you're in love with someone. So here I have Moby kind of sad that it's going to end and he's going to break it off with this girl, but he can't help but feel a little in love, and he's kind of digging it.
I never meant to hurt you. I never meant to lie. So this is goodbye. This is goodbye.
I want to take a quick second just to focus in on Moby's use of layering in this piece. Kind of a lot going on, from the original strings we heard in the beginning, then there's the drum track, there's a bass line, even the vocals have, a layer above it. I really want you to focus in on those kind of high celestial strings he adds above everything else, above even the original strings. To me, they aren't really trying to express any emotion. They're not really trying to make you feel sad or happy, but their purpose in the song is to really kind of get you lost into the piece and really focused up on it. And the message I feel Moby is trying to send here is that, sometimes in life you're gonna feel sad, sometimes you're gonna feel happy. It's bound to happen. But you should really just kind of get lost in these emotions. Just experience them to their fullest. I'm gonna play that part again. But when you listen to it now, I don't want you to focus in on any individual tracks, any individual layers, but just really take in everything as it is and just let this song just engulf you and all the emotion that it is. And that was the bridge of the song. There are two things I want to point out about the bridge, and the first thing are the female vocals you hear during it. To me, I guess this is some kind of dialogue that this woman Moby's in love with is giving him, or what she's saying. And the second is the more somber tone the bridge takes compared to the rest of the song. To me, this part really represents Moby hearing this news from this woman that, hey, it's not going to work out, it has to end. And a quick fun fact, the female vocals that we're hearing aren't actually sung by a woman. They're sung by Moby himself. He's just singing really high, and he's, put a lot of effects on his voice to make it sound more feminine. But let's be honest, in this class, does that really surprise us? I'm going to focus in on that distant male voice we hear throughout the entire verse of the song. There are a few things I want you guys to think about when listening to this loop. First of all, try and think about the singer. Maybe think of his appearance, his name. And second, try and distinguish what he's actually saying, because it is kind of hard to hear. And just a heads up, the singer is not Moby, who you've seen a few pictures of already throughout the presentation. It's a totally unknown artist as of now, so let's revert him back to his acousmatic state. So, if you thought the guy was saying, hey, 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 woman, it's alright, you're correct. All that can be found about this voice is that it's actually a sample Moby took from this really unknown Latin American artist named Pilar Basso. Unfortunately, a picture of this artist is nowhere to be found. But you have a name, and you have the lyrics. Hopefully these two things can take away the confusion associated with this sample as we listen to the rest of the piece.